It's a nightly ritual and the shame of Africa. Thousands of children walk from their villages into the town of Gulu in northern Uganda. If they stay at home and sleep in their own beds, they risk being kidnapped by rebels.
The children find themselves helpless, the same as the parents. The parents cannot protect them against abductions.
In the past year, more than 5,000 children have been abducted. It's a savage and depraved conflict that has stolen the lives of a generation. As an outsider, it's difficult to comprehend, but this exodus has become part of everyday life here in Gulu. The locals know that if they stay at home at night, they're at risk of being abducted, mutilated or killed by the rebels. After dark, these back roads are on the front line of one of Africa's most brutal and pointless conflicts, a war which is destroying the lives of thousands of children. Children rally at makeshift centres, singing prayers before bedtime. Every night, around 15,000 youngsters gather in the relative safety of the town. The war's been going on for 17 years. The fear of abduction has become part of growing up in northern Uganda.
Society depends on the children. Without the children, there is no future for a society, for any society, whether it be the church or civil society, nothing.
These children survived capture by a brutal militia, bizarrely called the Lord's Resistance Army, the L.R.A. They've escaped and they're sheltering at a centre run by World Vision in Gulu. Many were forced to serve as child soldiers with the L.R.A, and some were forced to kill. "14-year-old David was abducted by the L.R.A when he was walking home. We've concealed his identity and changed his name to protect him. The rebels ordered David to kill his father. Without his father as a ready victim, David and 2 other boys were then told to kill a woman in a neighbouring village. The woman begged for her life. It was a chilling induction to the L.R.A. The rebels routinely forced the children they kidnapped to kill family members or neighbours in the hope that they'll be too scared to go home. David was also trained to fight. The people of northern Uganda are being terrorised by the Lord's Resistance Army. The L.R.A is a guerrilla group which hides in the bush and rarely shows itself. except to abduct, terrorise and kill. The L.R.A. says it wants to overthrow the Ugandan government, but it doesn't have popular support. It's hardcore, only numbers in the hundreds. It has to kidnap children to fill its ranks, and it's only survived this long because of help from the government of neighbouring Sudan. The local Catholic clergy in Gulu know the L.R.A. rebels better than most.
Trying to get the right channel.
That's because the rebels have stolen more than a dozen two-way radios during raids on church missions. Father Carlos Rodriguez Soto has spoken to Joseph Kony.
It seems to be a group that depends very, very heavily on one single person, that is Joseph Kony. He told us that he was declaring a ceasefire on the 3rd of March, and we had some hope that if that was true, it could open the path for a negotiated settlement, but that ceasefire was never respected.
The church is calling for an end to the fighting. John Baptist Adoma is the Catholic Archbishop of Gulu. He says the war has gone on for too long.
Some sense of humility is needed, because 17 years is quite enough time. Eh? If it was 3-4 years, well, that is understandable. 17 years, and there is no immediate end to it. We can't say it is going to be finished soon. No.
Archbishop Adoma is one of the few outsiders to have met and negotiated with the rebels.
So what you do is...
He doesn't excuse the L.R.A, but believes the government should start talking to them.
That is a signal. I think the government needs to do more. It cannot say, I have done enough, unless this war is stopped. And also the L.R.A. have to do something greater than what they have done so far.
But Uganda's president isn't looking for advice. He's confident that he can end the war by force. There'll be no negotiations.
Why don't the Americans negotiate with Al-Qaeda? You must know that there are groups which are beyond the boundaries of negotiations.
Uganda has asked the United States to help with intelligence and logistics, but it doesn't want US troops on the ground. Why not ask for some international help?
We don't need international help to defend ourselves. I always hear that question, but what are we for if we can't defend ourselves?
The sheer brutality of this war defies belief. Helen Lanyom narrowly escaped with her life when the L.R.A. raided her village. She was asleep when the rebels forced their way into her house. They used machetes to cut off her lips. How young were the rebels who did this? Barbarity is the trademark of the L.R.A. The victims are mutilated and sent back to the community as a warning. It wasn't until Helen was in hospital that she realised what had happened. It's a conflict that's been going on and off for 17 years. When Yoweri Museveni became president in 1986, the war was just beginning. He believes the rebels have been contained, but admits the bloodshed has gone on for too long.
It's a shortfall on our side. The group has been contained, but it has not been eliminated.
We have gone to him several times. One time he tells us, yes, this thing is going to be finished very quickly, very quickly, very quickly. Then 1 month passes, 2 months, 3 months. So we say, hey, President, what is happening? You are frustrating us, you know? Yeah.
What's your message to the people of Northern Uganda who are living in the middle of this conflict?
Patience, we shall finish this problem.
Why should they have confidence?
Because we have won victories in the past and everybody knows them in Uganda. People in Uganda know. We mean what we say and we say what we mean.
The victims of the war are running out of patience. They want the president to start paying attention to the suffering. Agnes Laluru knows the violent tactics of the L.R.A. Every night, she and her children leave their village and walk into Gulu to sleep. Agnes was just 15 when she was kidnapped by the rebels. She became one of the L.R.A.'s most notorious commanders. Agnes fears that the rebels will come back for her and her family. Each night she checks her children into a local school where they'll be safe. She knows the horrors of the L.R.A. firsthand. These days, Agnes sells vegetables at Gulu's main market. Her bloody past unknown to most of her customers. She's trying to leave the war behind.
Kano ini dano may wachi ikonyo dano may ngo luenyo mi konyo gamena chale civilian no peke romo kwanya civilian mi neko neo peke kwanya civilian mi tiote atiana tiri mi nyuare chiketa ana neno lueny pa juni pe lueny mo mi kwanyo gulu dok lueny mo mi donyo gamena tijaranya yi duoi ko mi do.
Northern Uganda is under siege. 6 days a week, heavily armed Ugandan soldiers ride shotgun as the United Nations World Food Programme delivers aid. The Ugandan government has surrendered much of the countryside here, yet argues that it's the rebels who are on the run.
For the last 3 months, there has been rebel surrendering in very big numbers. At times when they surrender, you find that they come with their guns, and in their magazines there are no ammunition, there are no bullets. Then those are the indicators that really they cannot fight longer because they don't have the means of making war.
This is Lieutenant Mua's family home. When he was growing up, there was no risk of abduction by the L.R.A. But the rebels are now in control of this area and the local children are in danger.
These people are abducting children because they want to use them as human shields, just as human shields. That is it. If they are the political wing, they should have talked to the people would understand the suffering in which they are in, then they willingly come out and join hands with the rebels and they fight.
The war has forced more than 800,000 people from their homes in northern Uganda. Local families have been reduced to this, lining up for food aid. This is fertile land, but people can't even work their fields because of the risk of attack. Neither the war nor its victims can be sustained without outside help. These people are reliant on food aid just to survive. As for the rebels, they've been armed by the government of Sudan to the north, and as long as the flow of weapons and ammunition continues, so too will the conflict. The government claims some diplomatic progress with Sudan, but it hasn't made life any easier for these people.
We've been having discussions with the Sudan government. They seem to have reduced, if not completely eliminated, their support for these terrorists.
Yet in recent months, the abductions and killings have increased. More than 80% of the people in this region have been herded into camps. It's a government idea to increase security, but it hasn't stopped the violence and it's left the people here living in poverty.
Here it is now a question of truth and sincerity on the side of the government to admit some failures in protecting the children. Because the more continuous these children are being abducted, the more it is pointing to the inability of the government to protect these people.
What if you can't find a military solution to this problem?
There will be a military solution.
How do you know that?
Because we have had military solutions in the past.
The people of northern Uganda and the war which has ruined thousands of lives have largely been ignored by the outside world. But 14-year-old David can't escape the memories of being forced to kill. This gruesome conflict has left a scar that runs across the generations. Thousands of children have become killers. And thousands more remain at risk.